there, Alley Cats! If you've been following my Sims 4 videos, then you know I have finally acquired all of the DLC for this game. All 6 expansion packs, all 6 game packs, and all 14 stuff packs that are available at the time of recording this video. Because of course, The Sims 4 is still an ongoing game, the team is still working on even more future content. But for now, I wanted to talk about my personal best and worst packs for all 3 categories. And remember, these are just my opinion. If you disagree, that is completely fine. The Sims caters to a wide variety of different people with different personalities and interests, so I will respect your opinion, and all I ask is that you please do the same for me. So with that said, let's get right into it. Starting with the smaller stuff packs, there are definitely a lot of options that aren't bad, but not a lot that I would consider to be in the running for the best, but I did choose Laundry Day stuff. Because not only does it add just an extra bit of realism, which of course I always love, but as of now, it's the only pack that was essentially chosen by the community through a series of polls that EA put out. The stuff packs in general don't really add a whole lot to begin with, since they do tend to be fairly sparse content-wise. But Laundry Day did add some nice outfits and buy mode items even outside of the washers and dryers that I use on a fairly regular basis. And I do also like that they added an eco-friendly element to this pack as well, with the wash tub and clothesline that hasn't been seen yet in previous Sim games. So I really hope they'll do more packs like this in the future, taking a lot of input from the Sims 4 community. For the worst stuff pack, if I'm being completely honest, I just couldn't choose. I mean, each one is special in its own way and brings a new element of gameplay to The Sims, so it seems wrong to say that one is worse than the others, and I'm absolutely joking. Of course, it's my first pet stuff. Yes, there is sort of a bandwagon that people have jumped on to hate this pack, but it is for good reason. It's basically just a handful of retextured items from the Cats and Dogs expansion pack and a few other items that probably should have been included in that pack, but instead got sold separately to get a few extra bucks out of the players. And it's especially annoying that it doesn't have much content to begin with, but a lot of it requires Cats and Dogs in order to even be used. It's literally an expansion for an expansion. Like, just what the actual heck, EA? Moving on to game packs, and I was torn between Parenthood and Dine Out for the best one, because I personally think both of these packs are quite good and use them often, but I ultimately chose Dine Out as the better of the two. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I've always been interested in and really fascinated by food and culinary arts, even though I'm not a super fantastic cook myself. But maybe in another life, I might have been a professional chef, so I really enjoy everything about this pack. From the new food, to being able to actually have my Sims go out to eat a meal, or even running my own restaurant. And there's so many possibilities, from a dingy diner to a 5-star super fancy establishment. You can even choose your style, from brunch to Italian to fast food. I could spend hours and hours with this pack and still have a good time with the game. So for me, this one was a no-brainer. On the other hand, choosing the worst game pack was a lot more difficult because I haven't even used half of them that much, but I ended up going with Jungle Adventure. It's not even really that it's a bad pack overall, and I've even seen this as the favorite for some other simmers, but once you go on the adventure, then that's sort of it. You've done everything there is to do. And especially compared to World Adventures from The Sims 3, it seems so lackluster with only one location as opposed to 3 different destinations. And even World Adventures back in the day didn't really impress me much. It was always just go to this country, explore a bunch of tombs with traps and puzzles, gather some items unique to that area, and that's about it. Jungle Adventure is essentially the same thing, but with somehow even less content, so it's just not exciting for me. Now we're finally onto the expansion packs, and while I think all of them are fairly solid with a decent amount of enjoyable content, Seasons definitely takes the cake for me as the best. Even though it's the only expansion pack so far that hasn't added a new world, it still adds so much content and realism, and it's almost like a relief to have a variety of weather instead of just constant plain sunny day after day after day. I do really wish it included another world because the team has been improving so much over the past year or two, and they've yet to put out a bad expansion pack, in my opinion, so I would have loved to see what sort of world they would have created with Seasons. That being said, I do have to declare a worst expansion pack, and unfortunately, I will have to give it to Get Together. I like a lot of the content and world it comes with, Windenburg being inspired by Germany, and it's absolutely wonderful. But the main focal point of the pack, the clubs, it seems very superfluous, and I don't use it ever. It's a nice concept and definitely not a bad idea. I'm sure it's a lot more enjoyable for other simmers with different tastes and preferences, but for me, the clubs are just a little pointless. It's already easy enough to just go out and do certain activities with a single sim by themselves or with a normal group of friends on a regular outing. And running a club just seems like extra work to me, honestly, almost like it's a chore. And I don't mind putting in extra work for an aspect of a game if it's at least fun, but something that feels like a chore is just not interesting to me at all. So those are my personal best and worst packs from The Sims 4. I know some people will probably disagree with me, and that's totally fine. So if you're a fellow simmer, let me know what your best and worst packs are in the comments down below. I have been very critical of Sims 4 in the past and was even dead set against making the transition from the third to the fourth game for the longest time. Though I have to say, now that I have, I'm so glad I did, even though there have definitely been some bumps along the way in terms of content and development, but overall, I am so hyped to see what the team will create for us in the future. I hope they listen to the community in terms of input and criticism. I know it's difficult to please everyone, but it's so important to pay attention to your audience, and for the time being, I feel like they are on the right track. If you haven't seen the 2 Sims 4 challenge series I have going on my channel right now, the Get Famous Rags to Riches challenge and the Disney Princess Legacy challenge, I highly suggest you check those out in the link to each playlist in the video description. They're each very different, but definitely a fun time. And if you have any suggestions for other challenges or Sims videos you'd like to see, then let me know in the comments. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye!